Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the East Coast Hunt, Fish, Hike podcast. This is another of those short little encore episodes. This one is a snip from the story of my first buck. More specifically, the story of how we got him out of the woods. I'm sure you'll get a few laughs out of this one.
Yeah, I can still remember hearing Pat tell me this story over the phone the next day. And whether you remember this one from the episode, or if you're new to our content, trust me, this is one you won't want to miss. And so, if hunting, fishing, and hiking stories like these are up your alley, make sure to follow us on Instagram at ec_hunt_fish_hike_pod and subscribe to the podcast so you can stay up to date on our latest drops.
All right, thanks for following along. And remember to get outside, have some fun out there. I probably gave it, 30 to 45 minutes. I felt pretty confident about the shot placement and how the deer reacted afterwards, right? And, the coughing, along with the fact that the deer didn't come back to that doe. And, obviously that doe was, ready to be bred. So if there was an opportunity for him to get back there, I think he was going to get back there. Those two things combined, I felt I was pretty confident that the deer was going to be dead.
Yeah.
So I called in Dad. I gave him a call. Said, I think I got a big one on the ground. So he came up, helped me track him down. I actually got down from the tree stand, started to look for blood, found some blood, found my arrow. Eventually, followed that blood right up to the deer, and he was dead probably about 40 yards away from where he got shot. So
Okay.
that was pretty exciting. And then the work starts, right? We got some pictures with them, the good old grip and grin.
Yeah.
Got some good pictures, and then it was down to gutting them out and then dragging them out. So at this point, right, where the deer died was probably right on the edge of the swamp, so it wasn't wet, but it also wasn't a dry area either, dry enough for us to be do our work gutting them out, but not so dry that it was totally dry. And it was also, I would say, to get to this spot was about a half-mile walk down I would say a four-wheeler path, and then another quarter mile into thick woods. So we're talking 3/4 of a mile out to get back to the car. And, this is a relatively good-sized deer, so it was going to take us some time to get back. So
Yeah.
we, it was starting to get dark. It was, probably about 2 o'clock when I shot the deer. So by the time we found him and started getting him out, it was probably 3:30, 4 o'clock, starting to get a little bit dark. So you got the whole flashlights, you got the headlamps, we got them all squared away and started dragging them out. We dragged them the half mile to the four-wheeler road, and then we said, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go utilize a wheelbarrow to get this deer all the way out, because the wheelbarrow, you can just toss them in there, roll them right out and down the road, and it should be relatively quick to make that happen. My dad had the wheelbarrow in the back of his car because he knew that this was a plan that could eventually end up happening, right? So we get to the four-wheeler road, and he says, all right, so what you're going to do is you're going to walk back down to the car, and you're going to go grab the wheelbarrow and then walk it back to me. We'll load up the deer, and we'll make him back to the road. We'll get back to the car. It'll be no problem at all. I was like, oh, great. That sounds perfect. This is an easy plan. Rolling with a wheelbarrow is not really that big of a deal. Make that happen. It's a half mile back to the car, half mile back. Yeah, it'll be a pain, but it should be pretty quick and certainly easier than dragging a deer. I was like, yeah, no problem. I can make that happen. So I start walking away, and Dad yells back to me. He says, hey, don't forget the air pump. I say, the air pump? What do I need an air pump for? He's like, yeah, the wheelbarrow wheel's been giving me some problems recently, but I got an air pump. It's fine. We'll just blow up that tire before we start going. It should be no problem. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll grab the air pump and we'll make it back here. So
How perfectly dad of this story to
right.
have the wheel of the wheelbarrow not be functional.
Yep. So I get back to the car. I grab the wheelbarrow. I grab the air pump, which it's it's like a bicycle pump, right? But this particular bicycle pump, like the nozzle piece that actually attaches to the wheel is like duct taped together, so it's like hardly held together at all. So I'm
Of
like, all right,
course it
well, I
is.
guess this is the pump we got, so this is what we're gonna use.
Yeah.
So I throw that in the wheelbarrow and I wheel that thing back up to the deer. The deer, takes me probably 20 minutes to wheel it back. It's not too bad. I get there and I'm like, all right, so let's load this thing up. So we load up the deer, we get him in there. Obviously, it's not super easy, but made it happen. We blow up the tire, get it kind of like it's holding air, and then we start walking along, and we walk probably about, I would say, 20 yards, and the tire is totally flat again. I was like, oh no, this is a problem. So what ended up happening is that the tire was so flat and like had such a big hole in it that it wouldn't hold air for more than like 20 yards. And then every 20 yards, we'd either need to fill up the air in that tire, or in some instances, get the tire back on the rim, which was like if the tire falls off
Oh
the rim, right, you gotta like kind of
my
like strap it back
gosh.
on there. So this is a half-mile walk on a four-wheeler path in a wheelbarrow where we had to so this is what this looked like at 8 o'clock, 8:30, at night. 8 o'clock, probably. Let's say 8 o'clock. It's me and my dad, and what we would do is pump up that tire as fast as we could, pump it up as far as we could, and as soon as we pulled that pump, we would literally start running with this deer in the wheelbarrow on this road with our flat headlamps on for like a solid 50 yards, and then stop, and then do exactly the same thing until
Oh
we got
my
that
gosh.
until we took that whole half mile all the way back to the car. It took us 3 hours
Oh
to
my
get
gosh.
3 hours to get from that half mile back to the car. We started at, I think, 5 at the road, and it took us until
Oh
8 p.m.
my
to get back to the
goodness
car. So
gracious.
that is so I guess in this instance, the learnings from this one is make sure when you're shooting at the deer you're using your pins, even if it's at a 10-yard shot. And the other, make sure you have a functional wheelbarrow, because
Yeah.
if you don't, it's going to take you 3 hours to get back to the car.
Oh
So
my goodness gracious. I didn't know that it took you 3
oh
hours
oh
to make
yeah,
your way
no, it
back
was
that.
it was a lengthy process.
And, I'm sure you're doing, like, the mental math during that time too of being like, "If I just were to go at this time right now and, like, abandon ship on this plan and get in the car and go somewhere and buy another wheelbarrow, like, would it be
Oh,
faster to get back
100%.
here?"
We
And
100% would have been faster if we had bought another wheelbarrow, but that would have
like,
meant that.
where's the closest Ace
Yeah,
Hardware? If I'm
exactly.
able to get this thing, like, I could do this much faster if I just jumped into the car and drove to an Ace Hardware and got another wheelbarrow and then loaded this thing up into a functional wheelbarrow. But you don't start doing that mental math until you're at least halfway
Oh
through,
yeah,
and
no,
then at that
we
point you're
started
like,
we started doing that mental math at like hour 1.5 to 2,
yeah,
and then at that point we were it was a sunk cost, so
yeah.
we were finishing it out, but
Oh
it
my gosh.
but
That is so perfectly dad and such a perfect first kill
yeah.
first deer. That's awesome.
Thanks for listening to the East Coast Hunt Fish Hike podcast. If you have questions, comments, or have an idea for an episode, feel free to follow us and reach out over social media. Don't forget to rate, review, or tell your friends about the podcast. And until you hear from us again, get outside. Have some fun out there.